everybody. In today's banking session, we are going to discuss about history of banking in India and types of banks. Banks as we see today, that means those financial organizations who accept deposit from the public for the purpose of lending and investment and do some few more financial works are started in India from 1770. The first bank was Bank of Hindustan. It was a private sector bank opened in Calcutta, but it was closed in 1832. The second bank which came to India, that is General Bank of India, had a very short period. It opened in 1786 and closed in 1791. But the longest serving bank in India, which you see as the State Bank of India, has its origin during the British period. And the first bank was Bank of Calcutta, which was opened in Calcutta in the year 1806 and later converted into Bank of Bengal in 1809. In the same way, the Britishers had the province in Bombay and they opened a bank there in Bombay in the year 1840. And the next province was Madras, where they opened a bank is called Bank of Madras. All these three banks were called Presidency Bank because initially the British, they captured some territory in India and they were administering through different locations called the presidencies. Later, in 1921, all these three Presidency Banks were merged to the Imperial Bank of India in the year 1921. One special feature is, up to that, these banks, they were doing two activities. One was commercial bank activity and was central bank activity. I will explain you in the end of the session what is commercial bank and what is this central bank. In India, Reserve Bank of India was established in the year 1935 as per the RBI Act 1934. So the central bank activities were taken from the Imperial Bank of India, and Imperial Bank of India became a commercial bank, no more doing the activities of central banks. In the year 1955, the Imperial Bank's name was changed to State Bank of India as you see today. Later in the year 1960, 8 state associated banks were given to the State Bank of India for its control, and we had them for so many years as the associate banks. But today, all the associate banks are merged with State Bank of India, making it to one entity, and it is the largest bank, it is the oldest bank, and it is the bank having the largest number of branches and largest number of employees. In the year 1969, the then government took a decision to nationalize private sector banks and take it into their own fold. In the first approach, they nationalized 14 banks, and in the second approach in 1980, they nationalized, making the total into 20. And today, after merging one with the other, the total number of nationalized banks stands as 12. So now, if you look, the original government bank, that is State Bank of India, and today's existing 12 nationalized banks, so the public sector banks or the government banks stands at 30. And what is the definition of a public sector bank? A bank in which the government ownership is more than 50%. Then came a group of banks, they are called the regional rural banks. In the year 1975, the government found that these nationalized banks, if they are going to the villages, they are making a loss. So they made small size banks which are the regional rural banks, means they will be working in one region, like Odisha Gramya Bank, that is a regional rural bank. It will only work in Odisha, it cannot open its branches outside Odisha. So it is regional, it is rural, means they will mostly open their branches in villages, and it is a bank because they are doing the banking activities. And today if you look, there are around 43 regional rural banks, and this bank has a special feature. In this bank, the investment of the central government is 50%, the concerned state where it is open, it is 15%, and there is a sponsoring bank to it, one of the big banks which sponsors it, their investment is 35%. Then there is a group called cooperative banks. These very special banks, they are very old also, and they are opened as per the Cooperative Societies Act, and their strength is, or number is 30 now in India. The next group of banks we have seen, they are the private sector banks. And what is a private sector bank? A bank in which a private entity or a business house has investment more than 50%. If you today see the ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Yes Bank, these are all private sector banks, and their strength in India now is 22. The next group of banks which are operating in India are foreign banks. What is a foreign bank? A bank which is originated in a foreign country, that is outside India, but doing the banking business in our country, like Standard Chartered, like Barclays, HSBC, these are all foreign banks, and their strength is now 15. 15 banks or foreign banks are operating in India. Then there is, in 2015 came two new type of banks. One is small finance bank, and this is very interesting. Small finance bank means it is a small bank doing normal banking activities, but they have some restrictions. The restriction is 75% of the loans they are giving to the public should be in the priority sector. It is a sector which contains some priority activities of the Indians, like agriculture, small scale industry, MSME, etc. And the 50% of their loans are pocket size. What is pocket size? That is, the loans they are giving, it should be up to 25 lakh. Then came a new group of banks, Payments Bank, also in the 2015, and this bank is very much interesting. This bank is only take deposits and make remittances. They cannot give loans. Now what they are going to do with the money? They are going to invest it in the government securities. So by that they are earning less, but their loan portfolio is not becoming NPA because government is taking the loan. The last group of banks are called local area bank. They started in the year 1995. Their number is very few, and what is their definition? Definition is, this sort of banks, they are operating only in 3 contiguous districts. That means 3 districts which are adjacent to each other. So gradually these banks are going to turn into small finance banks, and only 3 banks are existing today. Okay, the last thing is, banks can be divided based on their attention or attachment towards the Reserve Bank of India to scheduled and non-scheduled banks. What is a scheduled bank? A bank which has taken permission to be incorporated in the second schedule of the RBI is a scheduled bank. Why banks become scheduled banks? Because if they are a scheduled bank, then they will get the benefits from the RBI whenever they need. And what is a non-scheduled bank? Those banks which are not joined the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934. Only very few banks are left now. These are the 3 local area banks and some cooperative banks. Exact number is not available in the RBI website. So very few banks which are not scheduled banks, or they are called non-scheduled banks. Banking can be divided into 2 more groups. One is commercial banks and one is central bank. What is a commercial bank? All these banks which we have taught, they are all commercial banks. Why they are commercial banks? Because they are providing services to the public for the purpose of earning profit. This is the most important. No bank does the business for making a loss. So all banks which we have talked, they are all commercial banks. And what is a central bank? The central bank is like our RBI, is the bank which does very specific activities which commercial banks cannot do. One is that they control the activities of the banks. If any bank is doing any work detrimental to the interest of the customer, the RBI can take action against them. The second is printing money and circulating it. So very specific work of all the central banks in the world and Reserve Bank of India. Only they have the authority to print the money and mint the coins and circulate it. The third is they declare the monetary policy. The central bank, that is RBI, is only authorized to declare monetary policy every 2 months. The main purpose is that to control money circulation and inflation. Thank you.
We'll hear more from him in the upcoming videos. Keep watching, liking and subscribing Talent Sigma. You'll find the contact address below. For now, I'll say goodbye. Stay safe, stay positive. Namaskar.